least once a year, I try and get to Mexico because I have a number of clients in Palm Springs that often consider places in Mexico as their summertime getaway. Today I'm in Puerto Vallarta and I'm going to meet with one of my referral partners in a moment. Come on with me. Alexander's going to talk to us today about different neighborhoods in Puerto Vallarta, general price points, and then I'm going to go look at some stuff on my own. So, Alexander, take it away. What were those neighborhoods that you were talking about a moment ago?
Okay, so the primary neighborhood where a lot of people, especially in the LGBT community, is the Zona Romantica, where we're at right now. But there's some other developing neighborhoods that have lower price points as of now and have a lot of promise, if you will. One of them is Cinco de Diciembre, which is adjacent to the downtown of Old Puerto Vallarta. That is very much an up-and-coming neighborhood, close to the ocean. You have a lot of hillside developments which give you panoramic ocean views of the bay. Another up-and-coming neighborhood is called Versailles, like Versailles, and that is just north of Cinco de Diciembre. That neighborhood has a lot of restaurants, a lot of culinary experiences. And that area is mostly flat. So if you're a person that really wants a flat area so you can walk your dogs around,
good point.
That would be a great area.
And so for the folks back home, we're kind of talking about the difference between Palm Springs and say Cathedral City, or if we're going north to Desert Hot Springs. So these are accessible by car in like 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes?
Yes, I think the proximity is even closer than
there you go.
What you're talking about.
Okay.
Puerto Vallarta in general is very walkable. I love to walk, and I have walked to those neighborhoods from here.
Okay.
There's also the Malecon, and it's just a very walkable city. So those neighborhoods are pretty close to the downtown.
So even
they
closer
really are.
than I portrayed. All right.
Exactly.
So let's look at some stuff.
Okay, let's go to Puerto Vallarta. Maps. Okay. So let's start with a bird's eye view. So here we have. Do you want me to talk?
You can surely point and talk, and then I'll do
This is the Bay of Banderas. It's 62 miles of coastline, right? So all this is developing as we speak. Puerto Vallarta is where it all started. It was a little fishing village. Then Hollywood discovered it. Then the rest of the world discovered it. So that's this area right here. But there is development throughout. Now, if we zoom in on old Puerto Vallarta, where it all started, I want to show you the neighborhoods that make up Old Puerto Vallarta. We have down here, this is Conchas Chinas. This is kind of like the Beverly Hills, if you will, of Puerto Vallarta. Mostly hillside residences, a lot of mansions, a lot of villas. And then we have Amapas, which is also hilly. It starts along Los Muertos Beach and then goes this way. Also a lot of hillside properties with great views. And then you come to the most popular area, which is La Zona Romantica, which is this flat area here, right? Really, it's really here, but it's kind of expanding this way as the price points go up here, because obviously this is very coveted beachfront or close to the beach properties. But it's starting to spill over here. Now, people are also now discovering old downtown. Doesn't have so much construction because there's a lot of restrictions. They kind of want to keep it looking like old Mexico, which I think is great. But the next to old downtown is Cinco de Diciembre. I forever will call it Cinco de Mayo, but it's Cinco de Diciembre. And this neighborhood is, first of all the street names are Latin American countries, which is, that's the way it is. Nicaragua, Honduras. And there's flat area, and then there's also hillside. So like a lot of the hillside developments have amazing ocean views or views of the bay. And this area is gentrifying quickly. Price points are still good. There's a lot of old buildings. There's a lot of new development happening in this area. And it's super close to ground zero, if you will, Zona Romantica. Now, if you go a little bit further north of Cinco de Diciembre, we come to Versailles. Let me put Versailles here so we can see where the map actually outlines it.
And Versailles is a neighborhood.
It's a neighborhood.
Not a development.
No, it's a neighborhood,
Yeah.
not a development, correct. So it's giving us this little area right here for Versailles. Remember, Cinco de Diciembre was down here. Zona Romantica is further down. So we do this. Cinco de Diciembre, downtown, Zona Romantica. But Versailles is becoming very, very popular. It's a flat area, so that's good for people that have issues, walking around on hillside.
Yeah, mobility issues, that sort of thing.
Exactly, totally. And there's lots of restaurants. It seems to attract people that want to open up restaurants, different types of food. So there's that. And then they're starting to build a lot of new buildings there. So this is fast becoming like a new Zona Romantica, if you will. But so is Cinco de Diciembre. I think this neighborhood right now is a great neighborhood.
Alexander, I'm curious now about prices. So
You're
when
curious about prices, okay?
Yeah, so when we talk about Versailles versus Cinco de Diciembre, am I saying that right?
Yes, Cinco de Diciembre.
What are we talking about in terms of prices? Like, what would a U.S. person expect to pay in U.S. dollars for a one-bedroom in a building that's been renovated?
In a renovated building, I think for a decent unit, you can expect to pay about $225,000, $250,000. You can also find things for $199 in that area still.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
May not be the best unit, but it'll be a nice fixer.
Okay. And then what about, say, a two-bedroom, two-bath?
350, 375,
Okay.
400.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that something that you could then rent? Is it a rentable neighborhood?
Yes, it is a rentable neighborhood
Okay.
because it's close to a lot of things, like the marina. It's close to the beach. It's not beach adjacent, but it's walking distance.
Okay.
Close to the airport.
Okay.
On the way to Costco and Walmart, if that's important to you. It is for some people.
Absolutely.
So it's a very
Okay.
central location.
Okay.
And I think because it's also flat, it attracts a lot of people that don't want to deal with a hillside, right?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, and then what about sort of that same concept in the next neighborhood going towards downtown that we talked about?
Cinco de Diciembre?
Correct.
What is the
Higher
question?
price points, or because it's a little bit closer in, or similar?
Right now, my experience is I'm seeing similar price points
Okay.
to Versailles, and it's closer, right?
Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay, so if you can tolerate hills easily, or
Yes.
mobility
I
isn't
like-
your
I like
challenge,
Cinco de Diciembre.
then you're a little bit closer in.
You're closer in.
I want to.
Sorry. Hey, you're not from Hollywood. You're supposed to see
1, 2, 3.
action. Yes, I went from a cue, buddy.
Okay. Action. I want to thank Alexander for his time today. What's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
My email is alex.realestate@gmail.com. Again, alex.realestate@gmail, or call me at 323-600-4999.
Easy number. And that is a US based number, so if you're in the US, you can dial it. If you're in Mexico, you can dial it or use WhatsApp.
That's true. Yeah.
But either way, you can get a hold of Alexander through him directly or through me, whichever you prefer.
Yes, or just come by Warren Brander Realty Group where
There
I
you
work.
go. All right.
Find me.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, from Alexander's office, it was about a 20-minute walk. Now, I'll be frank, I stopped here and shopped a little there, walked past the cathedral. There was a wedding going on. It was amazing. And behind me is the first building that he talked about. We're in Centro. Now, I don't think I'm going to make it to the other two neighborhoods, but I did want to give you a sense of what a very traditional neighborhood is like. We're a little removed from the craziness of Zona Romantica, and you can see the building behind me. I'll step aside a little bit, and you'll notice they've got these balconies here, which then enables you to take in the view that's behind me. So one of the things that you have to be mindful of here in Puerto Vallarta is someone building and obstructing your view. In this particular case, as you get higher up in the building, And sort of on this side, you can leverage the fact that the street isn't going to be obstructed. Now, there might be a building right across there, over here. Remarkably, unlike the US, the workers are permitting us to walk in and take a look around. Mind you, no hard hat, no safety shoes, but what the hell? So this is clearly one of the apartments here. That, what you're seeing out that way, looks right down into the street. And this building is a total of 5 stories. Now, one thing I want to point out is how high these ceilings are. This corridor does not feel old school, does not feel anything but modern. And it's all primarily concrete construction. I'm sure there are interior walls that'll be designed with what we call partition walls. And here we are at another unit. You have a compromised view to some extent until you get close to the window, and then you can start to see the ocean. Here, let's see all the magic of iPhones. Woo! There's your view, way over there. The risk, of course, is that someone will buy this building and renovate it across the street, and that'll get obstructed. Alexander mentioned at one point, you know, better to recognize that you have views all over Puerta Vallarta, so there's no good reason to pay for a view if you don't need one. This is a spacious apartment. Again, I'm going to comment on the high ceilings. I imagine to be a kitchen area here, and this is your living room. That's probably the kitchen, actually, now that I think about it. Maybe there's a dining table out here, and then you step out onto your patio. Go around this way. Let's see if I can. This will clearly be an elevator shaft, so you'd have access to all of the units. In fact, we've come out the building. It must be lunchtime. There's only one guy actually doing work at the moment, and these guys are going to let us in. May we go in? Gracias. Wow. Whoa. Okay. So I'm not going to go all the way in. I'm not quite sure if we're in an apartment or if this is just sort of service entrance. That was completely unexpected, and my intro didn't allow me the opportunity to say what I was going to be doing because I didn't know I was going to do that. And for those that know me, I miss my passion. As much as I love real estate, construction like this, it's amazing. And while I absolutely recognize the value of our codes in the US, sometimes, and it's not as if they don't have them here, but sometimes they stifle creativity. I have every expectation these units are going to be spectacular when they're done, and perhaps I'll just have to come back to see them. That's all I'm going to cover today. Maybe tomorrow I'll get to one of those other 2 neighborhoods, or both. We'll see.